Hello everyone and welcome to this week's My Swing Analysis. Now, if you want to have the chance to win a swing analysis with myself and Pierce, what should they do, Pierce?
Well, what they could do, Andy, is actually post a comment down below on why you need that swing analysis, and hopefully it'll be you, and hopefully 2018 will be your best golfing year ever.
Yes, right. Now today's swing analysis is Matt Lomas. Now Matt has been playing 4 months, so he's a brand new golfer really, scoring between 100 and 105. He's pulling his irons and slicing his driver. Now, you know what? For someone who's been playing 4 months, he's got a really good golf swing, but I think really important when you're starting off, Pierce, you understand the concept of what we're trying to do, and I think when we look at his golf swing we can see that maybe the concept might be slightly off, but we'll explain as we go along. Now, in terms of the setup, really happy with the setup. We go into the backswing from down the line here. We're going to see, actually, the backswing looks really nice. He swings pretty good length swing here, but if we just stop at the top of the golf swing here, we can see that the club face is a little open, and we have quite a lot of cup in that lead wrist there. So really, from here, it's going to be very hard to square the face up and very hard to use the body. Now, downswing, what we're going to notice here is really the body doesn't move too much. You can see the first movement is the hands pulling down, lower body's very quiet. So when we get to the golf ball at impact, you can see hardly any rotation of the body. The head stays down a very long time, and you can see very square on, and even past impact here, the head's down for a long time, Pierce. And the lower body's really sort of static there, and you can see even the finish position is very short and not much rotation. Yeah. So from that, really, I think the first thing that we'd like to maybe talk about, Pierce, is just the club face in the backswing.
Yeah, now it's interesting, Andy, that you were saying about his body when he was striking the golf ball is quite square onto the golf ball. We would prefer it to be more open, and we have a saying that you can't get open if you're open, so we'll explain that. So basically what happens is, because of this lead wrist position, you mentioned the cup, that's what we call that. We can see the club face is in an open position there because the leading edge of the golf club is running down pretty much vertically and not running parallel to my forearm. So from this position here, Matt's got to do everything he can to square the club face up, and the best way he can do that is by doing it just with his arms and not doing it with his body. If he gets his body opening out with the club face open, the ball is going to be massively going to the right, so that won't help you at all. So what we're looking to do is to change that club face position. Now, if we can change the club face position by changing the wrist, we can probably change your downswing quite a lot as well. So let's show you what sort of things we're after. I'm going to hit a shot as well here doing this in a moment, Andy, but as opposed to getting the wrist in this position here, that cup, we're going to get you to feel as though you flatten it off. So we're going to get that lead wrist in a very flat position at the top of the backswing. Imagine if I had a ruler running up my forearm there. I could fit it perfectly on the back of my left hand.
You can really see how that changes the club face at the top of the golf swing there, as opposed to being cupped and open like so. Club face now is in a much stronger position, which allows you to move the body on the way down, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can do everything else that we say past this point, but if you don't do this first, you're not going to get better. So this is number one thing that you must do. It's causing the majority of the issues. So maybe you've got a feel in the backswing when you're taking the club back, it feels a little bit flatter as well. But whatever you've got to do throughout this move away into the top of your backswing, we've got to get that lead wrist flatter. So I'm going to hit a shot, and I'm actually going to get my wrist in a good position, then hopefully I'll be able to turn my body more on the way through. Now, it was very easy for me to rotate the body there. There was no danger of that ever going to the,
it was always going to go
right
from
on the
left,
slice. Yeah, a little bit of a draw, lovely.
Okay, so that's the first thing we want you to do, Matt. The next part and the next thing we're going to really ask you is, have you been told to keep your head down or keep your head still? Because what's happening is your head is staying down and still for almost too long, and we see this so much, Pierce, that people get told this, but really what that does then, it switches off the rotation of the body. Just show us what we sort of mean by that, Pierce.
So yeah, look, I mean, look, your friends are there to help you. They want you to do well, and it kind of makes sense that if you keep your head still and down and keep your eyes on the golf ball, that you're going to get a good strike on it. But if I said to myself, right, my intention is to keep my head perfectly still and over the golf ball, it's going to limit me on my backswing. There we go. And it's going to very much limit me on the way through because I can't really rotate my body if that is staying still. And we see a lot of swings that look like this, and then they look up afterwards and almost finish the golf swing off far too late.
So what do we see? The best players in the what should it look like, Pierce, and what should this head do during the swing?
Look, Matt, we know you've only been playing 4 months, and it sounds a bit crazy to compare to the best golfers in the world, but that's the sort of things that we need to do in order for you to progress. So what we're going to see is when they strike the golf ball, the head can move a bit on the way back, which is fine. but on the way down, as you're swinging down, we're not saying it's going to be moving up and down and all over the place, but allowing the freedom for it to move a little bit as you are swinging is going to get your body into a more open position when you are striking the golf ball. That's quite extreme, but by allowing a little bit of head movement, we can see that the body can move a lot freer.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that we say to a lot of our students and a lot of the guys online is that, look, we want to see the flight of the golf ball, even the initial flight as the ball's leaving the club face. Now you, Matt, you're hitting it, the ball's going and your head's down. So if we can just see if we can watch that flight for a lot longer, and certainly the initial part, you're going to see your body's going to start to unwind. It's going to make it so much more consistent, and we're not going to pull it. That's the key thing with his irons, Pierce, is pulling it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You're exactly right. And I think, look, look at some of the best players. Look at Dustin Johnson, world #1, especially on his wedge game. That head is moving a lot when he's hitting those shots, and it allows the body to rotate and turn.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do on this one is actually feel as though my head does move a little bit, but my torso's turning and my hips are turning, assuming that I get that in a good position there. So lead wrist is the must, and then from there, turn the body toward the target more. That was actually a much better one than the last one. The last one was all right, but that was really nice.
Strike as well on that one.
Really
Look, I think there's two key things there if you can take from that, Matt. Get the club face stronger by improving the wrists and really allow some freedom of the head and the body to move on the way through. Your consistency, I mean, break 100, that's what we want you to be able to do. Get past that 100 mark, and I'm sure you're going to do it with that. So we hope you enjoyed that, guys. Two very simple key things that maybe even you're doing at home that can help. Now make sure you leave a comment or a question down below and we'll get back to you soon.
Yes, absolutely. Now, how would you like myself and Andy as your personal online golf coaches? You can do that. If you click on this link in the corner, it'll take you to meandmygolf.com. This website is designed specifically for you in mind to help improve your golf. Loads of videos. You're able to comment. We'll see you there.